So tonight we are going to talk about the LoC Rep's purpose, protocols, and possibilities. After that, we will have a short breakout, and that's how actually we run our large meetings with the reps, with the breakouts. Our regimental reps will lead the discussion concerning the topics presented, and any other questions they will take note if we don't cover them tonight, and we'll make sure that you get the information you need. Joanna's going to sign on right at the end. She's in a car, but she said that she would sign on. I told her, well, you know, I'll call on you about somewhere around 8:12, and she goes, I expect that, no less of you. And then just close with a thank you. So this is just a protocol meeting, and that's all. First of all, our purpose as Ladies of the Class Reps, or LoC Reps, we were established by the Use May Class of 77 Constitution. The Constitution was rewritten in December of 19. I think it was December of 19. No, December of 20, it was rewritten, and the LoC was actually formally formed in February of 21. So we have been around, what, about 19 months or so, and we are population of 50. So that is very good. Our purpose, our principal responsibilities, as it says in the Constitution, was to establish a chain of communication, mainly specifically to connect wives and widows of the class. When a classmate passes, there's a lot of information that has to be signed off with the family as far as the AOG and making sure that the classmate is remembered and the TAPS memorial is published. When we were formed, and we started the meetings about 19 months ago, there were about 84 TAPS memorials not published, and since then I think we're down to about 30, because we have established next of kin. The LoC has helped make that connection with reps or with ladies that could not be reached, or if the lady was passed also, who the next of kin was. So that was our main purpose. From that is to disseminate information to all the ladies of the class. And so that's why you will get confidential information. The information that I send you in red there comes from the AOG. And so it is a list that they collected. The classmates do not have to give him. And so we have to treat it very confidentially. And so when I send you that, I always put that clause in there. We support the class reunions and events. And those of you, the reps that are on, and the new, let's see, Carol, you jumped right in, F4 Carol, and helped support right away. We established protocols for the passing of a wife or a widow, and those still have to be approved, but we're at the approval stage, and the CEC meets next week. That is also part of the standard operating procedure for the LoC reps. So as you see right now, we have 4 regimental LoC reps, 46 company and assistant company reps. Actually, that's 44. And then Diana and I, the chaplain, Joanna, doubles. So that is our purpose. The protocols, how we carry on our meetings, how we communicate with one another, is also very established and also is outlined in the SOP, and it is evolved over time. When we started, we had about 12 people and we were loosey-goosey. We are no longer a loosey-goosey organization. And so in order to adhere to everyone's ideas and listen to all the voices and make sure that there's about 554 women in the class that we know of, that we've connected to, that they also have a voice, we have to have a method of communication. The number one thing, this picture up here, that's my husband and the I3 rep, and they were not posing for this. I said, you must, number one, establish a relationship with the company coordinator. That's important. We do not go above the classmate. We are a support group. We're support staff. And so we cannot make a decision for classmates in the company, that is coordination with the company coordinator. Now, we can talk to company wives and widows, and this is right here. So you will send emails, you might have phone calls, and as a courtesy to begin with, the more people that know what type of communication you have is just a protection for yourself. We're all human, and sometimes people might get their feathers ruffled a little bit. And so I always CC the president of the class and the vice president of the class anytime I talk to anybody. As you saw tonight, when I send you stuff, Jim and Rich are always on my emails. That's just so they'll know what I'm sending out, and we all are in congruence with one another. Sally Port is how we read the information from the class. Because you're an LoC rep, we actually have a link, and you have, I guess you're a member of the Sally Port, and I have a video that you can watch, and you will also get an email from George if you haven't, because he stays up to date on that. Our gatherings with 50 people on the screen, we have to adhere to some type of protocol. We always spend, just like we did tonight, the first 30 minutes. I sign on at 7:30, and at 8 o'clock the meeting starts. Now with 50 people, we are going to have a regular meeting in November. That meeting structure may change in January. To change a structure, I also have to put it before the CEC. So I will open up chat rooms, so because 50 people can't talk at once. So we'll do that. Once the agenda starts, that's the relay of information from the class. We follow the agenda as Lynn and Diana has shared with you. I do start on time, end on time, and follow the agenda. The regimental reps, and that's supposed to be lead. I don't spell, I am a mathematician. Lead the discussion. Spelling is so illogical. Very importantly is the CEC, the Class Executive Committee. They are the ones that are the leaderships of the class. The same time the LoC was created with the Constitution, the Band of Brothers was also instituted. They have, they are, first of all, in charge of the shepherding the Distinguished Graduate Award, and do call outs and shout outs and recognize classmates. But one of the most important things they do is they manage the protocols when there's a passing of a classmate. The first thing that happens is the official notice from the AOG. That is put out just to the Band of Brothers and the CEC. Then the Band of Brothers, they send out the official notice to the class once the family has been notified. They're very, very careful to put it out on any media or any social, email or emails to the class until family has been notified. And then the Lance, actually in the Band of Brothers, emails me and he says, I can appoint a contact at the request of a family. Sometimes the family requests that we don't. Now, the classmate that just passed away was a very good friend of some of our reps. And so there was more communication with the reps than usual. The classmate before this did not have a wife and did not request us to participate in that. And then for the widows, and I also put the link there, and in the meeting, the regular meeting on November 1st, we'll talk more about the grad passes that the widows can get a graduate pass. The last thing that I'm going to mention very quickly is the possibilities. And I want Diana heads up the QOL. The guys that she served with, they think they run it, but Diana, I know better. So you want to tell just a few minutes about the QOL project?
The QOL, the Quality of Life Project, started back when they a while back, and the whole premise was that it was to help graduates kind of go, they keep calling it the fourth quarter, what happens later. And it was really interesting because it was really focused just on what happened to them. And then when I came along as a widow and as a military wife, I kept thinking there was a lot of stuff missing in there, like what happens to us when those guys do retire? What happens to us when they pass away? So much of it was missing, because what happens to us as wives, I will tell you, is very different, and it's difficult to navigate. There's nobody to help us, but there's a lot of information that's been added to that now. So the Quality of Life Project, or the Q, is really looking what they're calling SMEs, subject matter experts. And I think Mary Lou is going to be a subject matter expert to help people write their memorials. And that was something. So there are going to be different areas of this quality of life manual, which is on the Sallyport site, that we're looking for people with just life experience, other kinds of experience, financial, emotional, just plain old common sense, to start working on some of these projects to help get the information a little more solidified. So these guys do meet, they like to talk, they don't have an agenda half the time, and we meet and go on and on and on sometimes. There is a video, I think, that was done, and it's on the Sallyport site, which took a while to do, that really kind of talks about these things a little more in depth. But again, looking for people to help and volunteer. So this is a great project to get involved in. And that's about it. It's an ongoing thing. It's a growth thing.
Yeah. Thank you, Diana. And Diana's been a major player and is also, you're the assistant chairperson, right?
Yeah. Thanks to you. I was voluntold, I think.
Okay. Just ignore.
For me.
Okay. 2 more quick projects. Now this was just table conversation. It just so happens that the president of the class is also in I3. So this was conversation within a company, but it felt like there was a lot more to it. So I will just say there is talk of putting together a 50th yearbook project, and we will play a big part of that and in the informal conversation about what it will be, like the biography of the classmate to include the ladies of the class. So that's really exciting. Another possibility, and we're going to especially ask our assistant company reps. There's more than enough jobs and things that you can do to help. Is our hospitality leadership, and that's also just kind of groundbreaking. Like I said, if I don't clear it with the CEC, then it doesn't happen. And that's just the stay connected until the 50th, what's going on within the companies. And then there's big ideas, like we're going to go out to watch Air Force and have a barbecue. And there was the Gettysburg bike ride. Thanks. Joanne just did. So all I could say was admit. I couldn't talk anymore. Anyway, it is time for the breakouts. And so here's how we do this. First of all, do you know who you're going to go with? Look at these ladies. Do you know who your regimental rep is? I don't know why this keeps.
Mary Lou Nosco.
The top one's Mary Lou. And who is this right here?
Lynn. No.
That's Lynn. And right here?
Jenny.
That's Jenny. And who's this high school girl?
That's your bed. Where is she?
Oh, that's Sheila.
Sheila.
Sheila,
Sheila's got book club, right?
She's got book club.
Yeah. That is not my husband either. I don't know who that guy was when we took her away.
All right. Well, let's go in the breakout. All right. So thank you. And so we are very timely. And so Joanne is here. Joanne is the LoC chaplain of the class. And Joanne, this is your chaplain's moment. So please go ahead.
Oh, sure. Thank you. I can't see any of you, so I hope that you can see me. I notice I have a big yellow sweater on, and what I can see of me, it looks like I'm, I promise it's not as big as it looks. I'll tell you, the chaplain position is a relatively new one for the ladies of the class. And so I would say that it's very much evolving what it may look like, what it looks like right now and what it may look like. The future may be very different. But as you have heard in the conversation, I'm sure that communication is one of the goals of the ladies of the class. And something that comes along with that is a connection. And the way that we can strengthen that connection is by sharing what's happening in one another's lives. So whether it's something that's very joyous that you would like the other ladies to know about, or it's something that's very sad that the other ladies would want to know about, I'm your contact for that, and we'll make sure that all of the representatives have the information that's happening in a kind and thoughtful way, I hope. And from my perspective, one that honors God and Christ as our Lord and Savior. So with that, I'll turn the meeting back. And I think you all will probably have my email address. And please feel free to contact me with any information or questions. If email is not your thing, let me know, and I'm happy to receive information via my cell as well. So I look forward to meeting all of you and seeing you on the November 1st meeting.
Thank you, Joanne. I appreciate
Thank you.
everything you're doing. And she also always says, yeah, she will also wants to share our joys as well as our prayer needs. So, Joanne, I really appreciate that. Listen, I
Pam,
thank
I have a
everyone.
question. I had a
Sure.
question. Will you be sending out the lists to the new ladies with all their wives then, or does that something has to go through CEC first, or?
No, I have permission to do it. I just have to put that little confidentiality thing on that. And so now everybody's heard it, and it's only for sure.
Once we find a wife, a spouse, and we get their contact information, what should we do with their contact information at that point?
Mary Lou, I'm glad you asked that. I have a written protocol, of course, now. And one thing that I'm going to ask for is sort of a secretary with 4 formats. So I'm going to ask it just be collected by each regiment. And usually what happened before is the companies updated that, and I would get a new company roster, and I just put it in my core roster. So, but that's a great, thank you for asking that. And we are really going to get streamlined now because of the numbers. We really, except for 5 companies, we represent the whole core. So I love that. So in the link also 2 days before. All right. But thank you so much for signing on.
Pam,
Yes.
Pam, one thing, we talked quickly about the makeup of who we are, and actually we all 3 of us all came from very different perspectives. So it's a good message to send out to other wives who may think this is just for the West Point brides. It's not. We have come from all different perspectives and backgrounds, and so I think when they're reaching out to the people the women in their or spouses in their group, that to let them know that it's a lot of diversity in who we are.
Absolutely. We have a new bride that she got married in May, and Carol. So we had a fiance right off the bat. That's a LoC rep. So yes, we do represent every type of spouse out there. Picture. All right.
It fits my
All right.
hair.
All right. Hold on. You're lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
All right. Good night, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Hey, Patty.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Night.